There's a live shot of Vatican Square, the centre of attention this morning as voting begins for a new pope. Good morning and welcome to the News Hub. I'm Michael Casey. It's a busy day for the 115 cardinals who will be voting in extreme secrecy. At 10 o'clock this morning, the cardinals will attend Mass in St. Peter's Basilica, and later this afternoon they'll proceed from the Pauline Chapel to the Sistine Chapel, where the first votes will take place. Remember, the winning candidate for Pope must earn a two-third vote, plus one. If this sounds like some sort of parlour game, many people are treating it that way. The Wall Street Journal's John Stall is with us in Rome this morning to give us details. You know, John, I think of you as an example of the versatility of Wall Street Journal reporters, a true jack of all trades. You're a one-time auto reporter from Detroit who's currently the Stockholm bureau chief, now reporting on the Vatican's doings today. How do you manage to keep it going?
You know, it's just trying to outrun the people who are watching me. That's all it is.
So anyway, listen, this is a great story. I mean, this is the first time we've had a pope who hasn't died before. Well, the first time in 7 centuries that we haven't had this. It changes the dynamics, and a lot of fun and games seem to be going on. Give us some of the details.
Yeah, what we reported this morning is that we've seen worldwide, actually, a lot of people speculating on who the new pope is going to be. It's not the same as it was 8 years ago when Pope John Paul II died. There were a lot of people, millions of people who came to Rome to mourn it and to sort of say their last respects. This time we had a resignation for the first time in 6 centuries, and that being the case, it's kind of had left a void. In its place, people have come up with all kinds of things, including brackets, the NCAA style brackets, to kind of figure out who the next pope is going to be.
A kind of March Madness for the Vatican. And websites and the like that give you alerts. It's a very different world this time from the last time around.
Yeah, I mean, I think even the cardinals who are voting they've signed off now, but over the last few days they've been doing a lot of tweeting, a lot of blogging, a lot of Facebook updates themselves, just to say, hey, pray for us. These are the things we're discussing. They've had this general congregation the last few days. So, you know, the faithful and anybody who's interested, Vatican watchers, can keep pretty up to date on you know, who's in the know and who's in the lead, who's the lead horse for Pope, even though nobody really knows who it's going to be.
Now, it seems to me you've got an interesting clash of cultures here. This, of course, is a millennia-old institution up against these new technologies and social media and the like. Is that creating some tension?
I'm sorry?
Is there any tension between what seems to be a very old institution and this sort of new technology?
I think you do see tension. I mean, if the question is, you know, I mean, on a serious note, we're seeing a bit of the old guard versus the new guard. I mean, the complexion of the church has changed dramatically over the last 100 years, from a largely European, North American base of parishioners to far more in what I would call emerging markets for the Catholic Church, Asia, Latin America, Africa. And so, you know, the speculation that we talk about actually extends to who can be the next pope. We talked with people who have talked about Peter Turkson or cardinals from Brazil or even cardinals from Asia, Philippines, right. That we could see somebody who's not from the West this time become the pope is a very real possibility. Right.
In fact, on the paper you see now, there is your story there, and there's a place you can thumb through a slideshow looking at who the key candidates are. Now, I mean, it's one thing to sort of ask people to pray for them, but it's rather unseemly, supposedly, to be courting votes in the public sphere. And yet we've seen, you know, flyers and posters and things around, right?
Yeah. I don't think this is atypical. It was probably a lot more typical before they instituted a more rigid conclave. In early 1900s, we saw, you know, a little bit of a lockdown, tightening down to make sure that the cardinals took very seriously the secrecy around this and kind of the, you know, the humility and the meekness that you're supposed to approach the office with. I mean, to be out putting campaign signs up or actively trying to court votes is not sort of, you know, the standard. What we have seen are probably supporters of some of the cardinals, particularly cardinals who aren't as well known, try to get some names out there. In fact, we saw a bishop from Bombay get some support from kind of a rogue professor who thinks he's the right guy. So we've seen quite a bit of that here in Rome this week.
And what are we likely to see in the first vote? We, of course, won't get any information, I presume, right? But I mean, is there some way you can tell us?
Yeah.
It's a series of votes.
Yeah, Michael, they start tonight in a few hours here. They're expected to vote this afternoon. They don't have to, but they're expected to have their first round of voting at the Sistine Chapel nearby in a few hours. And then, we'll be watching the smokestack on top of the chapel to see if it's white or black. If it's black,
Right.
they have to go vote again because they haven't elected someone. Of course, the white smoke would mean, and the bells would mean that we have a pope. So it could be 1, 2, 3 days. In the last 100 years, we haven't seen a conclave last more than 4 or 5 days. So most people think by the end of the week so that the cardinals can get back home in time for Holy Week.
Right. Well, we'll continue with this Vatican version of March Madness throughout the day, so stay tuned. Thanks very much, John.